Hi, I'm Adrienne Barbeau, and you're watching The Horror Show.
Bienvenidos, Fright fans. Welcome to The Horror Show and our official coverage of Mad Monster Carolina 2019. And it is my utmost honor to have an icon of both stage and screen beside me here. Adrienne Barbeau, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Have you done this particular event before?
I've not been in Charlotte. I've been in Charlotte for other things, but not for Mad Monster, no.
How
No.
has the fan response been to your presence?
It's been fantastic. It's been fantastic. It's a great group of people.
Oh, indeed. Horror fans, as I'm sure you have found, as you transitioned from, soaps and sitcoms and everything into, more genre filmmaking and stuff like that. I'm sure you have seen just the fervent fandom that you receive from these type of people.
It's been a whole resurgence of the films and, the recognition. It's
excellent. Your talents came to a point where you were able to expand into doing so many different things. Everybody knows the Rolo Mod, obviously, which was iconic, but then you found an entirely new audience, with your former husband and just the films that he put you in. But your iconic stuff has continued to this day. I still remember a few years ago in Tales of Halloween, and how much I loved your presence in that. But
thank you.
But for me, it was always the Crate in Creepshow, obviously, and you were so delightfully feisty in that film. What was it like working with obviously King and the team there, and George, obviously?
It was a fantastic experience, and I really do owe that entire character to George Romero.
His direction was like crank it up a little bit more.
Crank it up. But the milk in the scotch, that goes back to the mafiosos.
No kidding. I can't say I'm surprised.
My boss used to drink. He had a
diluted in some strange fashion.
He had an ulcer, and he used to put milk in scotch.
Soften the process.
When time came to do Billy, I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to use.
Nice. Well, as a big fan of Batman growing up, I have to say, whenever I am reading a comic book, I hear Kevin Conroy in my head, and much the same when I read Catwoman, I hear you in my head. What was your experience with the character before? Were you familiar with the Adam West show and stuff?
No, I'd never watched the Adam West show. I knew Eartha Kitt had done the role,
yes,
and
exactly.
I knew Lee had done the role, but I'd never seen it. I'd never read the comics or anything. Just got called in. My voiceover agency called me in and did a 30-second audition.
And speaking of the voiceover stuff, you in turn, as the years went by, segued into doing work on video games, like Halo and God of War and stuff.
Yes.
Do you enjoy voiceover work in comparison with being on screen personally?
I love it. I enjoy them both, but you don't have to get dressed up to do voiceovers. You don't have to get makeup on, so that's always a plus.
How much more do you put into the process of like inflection and things like that when you don't have to worry about body language and mannerism and things of that nature? I mean, since you have such an extensive amount of experience on screen and stage.
Actually, well, some of the video games, Mad Max was one and Halo 4 was another, those were done motion capture. So you are, they're filming your entire body
so you were
while
part
you're
of
using
both
your
sides
voice.
Of the process.
Yes.
Exciting.
Fallout 76, that was just voiceover.
Okay.
But it's not so different. You make the same choices.
Okay.
And I find when I'm doing voiceovers that I'm, my body is getting into it.
Yeah, well, as any, true thespian would, I would imagine. Well, awesome. Well, the last thing I will ask then, being a scream queen, as they call it, is there a lady who's doing it now who has given a performance that really impressed you that comes to mind?
I thought you wouldn't call her a scream queen, but Emily Blunt in Get Out. I'm not Get Out, in
A Quiet Place?
A Quiet Place.
Fantastic.
That was an incredible performance.
The birthing
I don't
scene
see
alone,
a lot of,
and since I'm not a woman, I can't comprehend.
No, it was an
but
incredible performance.
It was one of the most tense scenes I've seen in a movie in recent memory.
I don't see a lot of horror films, but that one, I can truly say yes.
Excellent. Yes, she killed it, so to speak. So, well, madam, it was a absolute pleasure
Thank
and an
you
honor
very
to get a
much.
few
Thank
moments
you.
to chat with you. And is there like a social media or anything?
There's
like
lots of social
something
media.
that you could recommend where people can learn more about you and your work?
Yes. My website is abarbeau.com. My Instagram is Adrienne_Barbeau. My Twitter is at @abarbeau. My Twitter is at @abarbeau, and I
Nice.
think my Facebook is for @abarbeau. I'm not sure. You'll figure it out. It's and bunch of new projects coming up. In fact, I
Exciting.
just did a fantastic. This was a guest episode that I did for RuPaul on a
No
new
kidding.
Netflix series called AJ and the Queen.
Nah,
that
my
was
co-host
really
right
lovely.
over there. She is so big of a RuPaul
Are you
fan.
big on RuPaul? Well, look for AJ and the Queen. And I have my own podcast
Please,
coming
please,
out.
give us
It's actually not mine. It's for Shudder.com.
Well, Shudder is just a up-and-coming,
Right.
amazing presence in horror.
Right.
Seriously.
Well, they asked me to host and narrate a new podcast that will be premiering on March 1st called She Kills. It's women in horror.
Excellent.
So you've
That is
probably interviewed a
supremely
lot of the
exciting.
same women.
I have. Dee Wallace is
Dee
another
is on
one
there.
that
Dee
I
is on
absolutely
there.
adore.
Jennifer Tilly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Very, very cool. Well, that is exciting to hear about. And so follow her on all of those social media sectors. You can learn about her singing, her writing, like Hollywood Vampires,
Yes.
and all kinds of fun things there as well. I didn't want to take up too much of her time because I have so many other things I would love to ask, but it was a pleasure
Thank you
once
very
again.
much.
No, happy to. And until we get to more coverage here at Carolina, remember, Fright fans, stay scared.